Hello everyone, ¿cómo están? Well, in this lesson we're going to study adjectives. We will have an introduction to adjectives in general, and today's lesson will focus mostly on a type of descriptive adjectives known in Spanish as los adjetivos calificativos. There are two main types of adjectives in Spanish, but today we'll focus on los adjetivos calificativos after briefly discussing the commonalities of all adjectives in Spanish. Well, unlike English, Spanish is a gender-dependent language. And gender-dependent means there are articles that are masculine because the noun they precede are masculine, and there are feminine articles that precede feminine nouns. Also, there are adjectives. Most adjectives must agree in gender with the noun that they modify or describe. So those characteristics in Spanish are called gender dependency. So in Spanish, it's referred to as el género, which is gender. El género. Another characteristics of Spanish is, and that one is shared with English, nouns. When you have a plural of a noun, when you have many of something, that becomes plural. So there is something called plural morpheme. When you add s to one noun, to a noun, to make it plural, that s is known as a plural morpheme. When you say one child and many children, that's an irregular plural morpheme. Okay? So in Spanish, it's the same. There are regular plural and there are irregular plural. Most regular plural add s to the noun or es in some contexts or other endings. So adjectives, not only that they are gender dependent and there are articles feminine and masculine, but just like in English, Spanish adjectives also must agree in number with the noun that they describe. Okay? So if you say un carro and you have 3 cars, you have to say tres carros. Okay, it's the same behavior in English. So the only different thing here is the gender. The gender does not exist. English only recognizes biological gender. But in Spanish, there is grammatical gender that makes noun take on masculine or feminine article, and depending on that, the adjectives also must be either masculine or feminine. So, but those two characteristics of gender and number are general to all adjectives in Spanish. But still, there are 2 types of adjectives in Spanish. There are the ones that are called los adjetivos calificativos and the ones that are called los adjetivos determinativos. So today we'll focus on los adjetivos calificativos, which are the type of adjectives that have some intrinsic characteristics. Okay? If I say la mesa azul, which is the blue table, azul by itself has some characteristic in it. It denotes color. Okay? But if I say su mesa, which is his table, her table, or their table, the su in isolation does not mean anything. It doesn't have any, unless you associate it with the noun, is meaningless in isolation. So when such adjectives are meaningless in isolation, they are known as adjetivo determinativo, and they behave just like article. It has to be with the noun to have some value. So, but the other one, like azul, which is blue, or tall, which is alto, which is tall, or bajo, which is low, those type of adjectives have already some meaning in themselves, even if they are not associated. Okay, so, but I will see a few examples of adjetivo calificativo today, and in future lessons we will see los adjetivos determinativos, and there are many of them. Possessive adjectives are one type, demonstrative adjectives are another type, numeral adjectives are another type. So we'll see all those one lesson at a time. So the example we'll be looking at today have to do with los adjetivos calificativos. Okay, and next time we'll work on los adjetivos determinativos, one type of adjetivo determinativo at a time. Okay, look at our example here. El enfermero simpático. El enfermero simpático. And here we have la enfermera simpática. So when it's ending in O, it's masculine in general. That's how Spanish behave. When you see a noun or an adjective ending in O, in general, it's masculine. And when something ends in A, and this A is A in English, but in Spanish is called A. So the general rule is it must be a feminine noun or adjective. There are exceptions, but that's the general behavior. So here we are having gender, this is masculine and this is feminine. So that's the gender characteristic. Okay. But below that we have the plural. Okay. Plural, los enfermeros simpáticos. Okay. In Spanish, in English, there is no way to make an adjective plural, but in Spanish, you add s in general, and there are other endings depending on how the word itself ends. Okay, so we have los enfermeros simpáticos y las enfermeras simpáticas. Okay, which is plural, and here we have a feminine plural, Here we have a masculine plural, and here we have masculine singular, and here we have a feminine singular. Okay. If el globulo blanco, globulo, the noun ends in O, therefore the adjective must be in agreement and also end in O, blanco. What is el globulo blanco? Blanco is white, globulo is cell. So this is white cell, okay? If it's a red cell, it will be el globulo rojo, okay? It cannot be globulo and then be roja. Roja will be for something that's feminine. Since globulo is masculine, the adjective also has to be masculine. That's what gender dependency means. And that does not exist in English. English recognizes biological gender. When you are referring to a woman, you say she. When you are referring to a female dog, you say la perra. But if it's a male dog, it's el perro. So for human beings and animals, English uses gender dependency. But beyond that, there is no gender, no grammatical gender in English. But in Spanish, there is a grammatical gender. So here, this is oxygenated blood. Since blood, la sangre is a feminine noun, so the adjective that describes the noun also has to be feminine. So la sangre oxigenada, okay? So it has to be, and it has to end in a to show that the noun is plural. And la here also is a feminine article, okay? So I have a full course on article, adjectives, all those in one lesson that only deals with adjectives or only deals with article. If you are interested in that, I have a course and that discusses that. But these are portions that I'm of the lesson that I'm explaining to you. So if you want the whole thing, if you want to study the whole part of speech in one module, I have a course that offers that. Okay. So now, besides adjectives ending in O and R, there are other adjectives like this one here that end in E or end in L, okay? And their behavior is different. When the adjectives end in E, or whether it's masculine or feminine, the ending remains the same. There is no modification. Okay, so as much as Spanish is gender dependent, it doesn't show for adjectives or noun ending in E. Okay, they remain the same. Okay, here you have un paciente inteligente. Okay, but here you have una paciente inteligente. Okay, un paciente is a masculine, is a male patient. Una paciente is a female patient. They both are inteligente, but there's no difference in the way the word is spelled, especially the ending. When you look at the ending, there's no difference because the adjectives end in E. There's no modification to show this is masculine or this is feminine. It remains the same. So those are, they don't behave the same way as adjectives ending in O or R behave. Now, to form the plural, you add S. Okay, you just add S, just like you will add S to an adjective ending in O or R, you just add S to that. So, unos pacientes inteligentes. Okay, so those are for adjectives ending in E. But when an adjective ends in a consonant, like difficile or facile, they remain the same for whether they are masculine or feminine. Okay, they remain the same at the singular level. When it's one item, one entity, there is no difference whether it's masculine or feminine. There's no modification. But when it comes to making it plural, when you have many of something, a noun, and the adjectives that describe the noun end in a consonant, difficile here is an example of an adjective ending in a consonant. You don't just add s to form the plural, you add es. Okay, you add es. So you see here, un ejercicio fácil. Okay, an easy exercise. Una tarea fácil, an easy homework. Okay, tarea is feminine, ejercicio is masculine, but fácil is the same. There is no change here. Okay, fácil is the same. There is no modification. But when it comes to the plural, whether it's masculine or feminine, when it comes to the plural and the adjectives end in a consonant, you add es. You don't just add s, but you add es. Los ejercicios fáciles. So those are a few examples of los adjetivos calificativos. And in future lesson, we'll see other adjectives that are not that are determinativo, that behave almost like article. And more often than not, los adjetivos calificativos also come after the noun. You see, un paciente inteligente, so the adjective comes, is placed after the noun. Okay, they are postposition. Okay, una tarea fácil. Okay, in English it will be an easy homework. The adjective will come first before the noun. But in Spanish, the general trend is that the adjectives come, descriptive adjective of the type that are known as los adjetivos calificativos, they come after the noun. There are a few cases when they are positioned before the noun, but in general they are positioned after the nouns, which is different from English, and which is also different from most adjetivo determinativo, because the articles always precede noun. So los adjetivos determinativos, most of them precede nouns, but there are also a few exceptions. And when we study los adjetivos determinativos, we'll talk about some of the exceptions. But the general rule is los adjetivos calificativos follow the noun So the general rule is los adjetivos calificativos follow the nouns, and los adjetivos determinativos precede the noun. So if you want to become a bilingual nurse or a bilingual doctor, I have a course that will help you do that. The difference between this course and many other courses out there is that it gives you all the basic of grammar first. Okay? It's not sprinkle a few grammatical notions here and there. No. It gives you the basic of grammar. It gives you learn all 9 parts of speech, like noun, articles, pronoun, adjectives, verb, preposition, adverb, conjunction, and interjections. You learn all those 9 parts of speech. You also learn to build simple sentences in Spanish, and that's just the grammar part of it. Now, as a contest, my course focuses on one micro skill, one medical micro skill. And we go deep in that little micro skills so as to give you the lexical advantage when you are reading a text related to measuring vital signs, or when you are listening to or watching multimedia related to vital signs, and when you are training yourself up to speaking with the patient in Spanish when you are conducting a vital sign measurement session. So at the completion of this course, you will be able to take the vitals in Spanish without having to rely on an interpreter. That's the main goal of the course. Other goals, other objectives that you can benefit from is when you complete the grammar session, you will be able to read public communication materials, such as the one you see on website of hospital, of a clinic, and all those, or from CDC. Those documents are written at between 5th and 8th grade level. So they are not too hard to read. You just have to know the basic grammar and know the vocabulary related to what you are reading, and then you will understand. So you do that after finishing the grammar course, and then after the grammar mini course, the mini course on taking the vitals give you a lot of vocabulary related to measuring the vital signs. You have vocabulary related to temperature, heart rate, blood pressure, oxygen saturation, pain, and respiratory rate. You have vocabulary related to all those 6 areas of vital signs measurement. So if you want to become bilingual and you want to embrace everything, it will take you a lifetime. So you have to focus on one specific area and master that, and learn the linguistic skills and techniques, and you can now, after that, use those skills and technique to study another micro skill, another medical micro skill. You can convert other professional skills that you have after you have finished, you have completed this course. You'll have the skills and the technique to convert other medical skills that you have. But it's better for you to do one micro skill at a time, because if you want to embrace everything there is on in the field of medicine, it will take you too long and you will not be effective at it. So it's better study. I mean, I have found out, I've studied many languages myself, I've found out that that's the best way to become bilingual. So this course is available, and down in the description, you can see a link that takes you straight to the course and gives you more details on the course. And that will help you. You try that, and becoming a bilingual healthcare professional will become easier for you. So I thank you for your attention, and hope to see you in next class. All the best.